Welcome to Straight Talk on NMTV. On the occasion of Diwali, it's an honor to present to you the very dynamic and suave Navi Mumbai Commissioner of Police Ahmed Javed. Commissioner of Police Ahmed Javed's reputation precedes him. Known as a dashing and dynamic cop, he is one of the few officers of Maharashtra's state police force who earned respect for being an upright and honest officer. And for Navi Mumbai, his appointment as Commissioner of Police couldn't have been at a better time, as crime rate has increased steeply. He wasted no time and took his role as a top cop head on. Welcome to NMTV, sir, on Straight Talk.
Thank you.
My first question to you, sir, is were you destined to become a cop, do you think?
Very simply put, actually, those were the days when government service was one of the prime opportunities. Coming from a service background, it became obvious that you took the civil services. So we took the civil services exam, and here we are. But that's long years ago.
What about your family, sir? What was their reaction, when they came to know about your profession, especially being in Mumbai? And
see, when I told you our background is services, government service. So pretty much the atmosphere at home would be of service. We are allotted cadres. So, I finished everything in Delhi, for example. But when we are allotted cadres, and Maharashtra was the cadre allotted. So you don't land up in Mumbai straight away as a young officer. We are in all parts of Maharashtra. So they were pretty much comfortable with it because it's the same scenario all over India. You land up in a province or a state, which is a cadre as it's called, and you work around the Mufassil and the rural areas, then you go to the bigger city. So that was not ever an issue with my folks.
Okay. And what about any challenging turns in the posting so far? Anything that you remember that was really challenging?
Police job, by virtue of its character, is a challenging job at any given point of time, and all police officers and men, all across, have definitely a much more challenging, much more stressful job environment. So the department is like some professions generate a lot more pressures, whether it's physical or others. And so, as I said, all police officers and men at some point at a time or throughout, depending on the postings you have been, will have this. And the same is the case with people like us also.
What about any memorable moments during your postings?
Lots of them. As I said, 30 years is a long time. So the parts, of course, working in Maharashtra has been a great experience. It's a big province. A lot of urbanization, a lot of used to be, at least for long years, very high traditions, very high traditions of governance and policing. But yes, when you're working in a city like Mumbai, which is, I would say, a world of its own, it's an experience which is unparalleled. Similarly, working when we were at younger levels at Mufassil areas, it's also an experience which is unparalleled because the public, the citizens gave a lot of support, and it became a good experience of working between the police and the public. But I recall, of course, there are a lot of these things you recollect in Maharashtra. By some strange I happened to be with Delhi police when the times when Punjab militancy was at its peak. And Mrs. Gandhi, the Prime Minister, got assassinated. So that was an experience which just doesn't leave.
It must have been an experience.
Yeah, it was a huge. I mean, we know we all know what happened. Some of you, as young, may not know what was happening then, but it was a huge sort of experience which we in the police and the nation as a whole experienced. So it was really something which doesn't go away very.
Obviously, there's a lot of stress and pressure, being the top cop of the city. How do you unwind, or what are your hobbies so that you can...
See, while agreeing that there is, I suppose when you are in the police department and if you are heading a unit, pressures would be there, which is basically work related or stuff like that. Time is a bit of a problem because we tend to tend to lose out on family and friends and private time. So, however much you would like to unwind, of course, since I can't say I've been here long enough, one has a schedule, things like doing a bit of physical exercise or do something. So, hobby per se, one can't say has a hobby time nowadays, but
Listening to music or
so whatever you can catch by, whether it's listening to some music or playing a game of billiards or exercising is regular. One tries to be a regular on it because it's good to have a healthy body. And obviously that cliched thing that you should also have a healthy mind.
So what is the difference between Commissioner of Police Ahmed Javed on duty and when he is not on duty?
Not on duty where? At home?
At
or
home, yeah.
At home? On duty, like I suppose any professional police officer would, you'll find plus and minus. Of course, there are some other traits which comes into place. When you're professional, it's like you go to a doctor, what do you expect? He is supposed to give you a professional response. This is what we are supposed to be doing. At home, like any other, I think, as this is normal family.
It is often believed that officers of your rank go through political pressure. Have you had any such experience?
You see, I think there's a lot made out on these things, which are not to say that there isn't. But what is made out, I think, sometimes gets exaggerated because it depends on individuals, number one. And number two, remember, we are a democracy. As much as a citizen or a person has a right to come and put forth his or her thing, so also as the politician, as long as it is legitimate, as long as it's correct as per the things, that can't really amount to pressure. And at the end of the day, it depends individually that if you are going to buckle under pressure, that much more pressure will come. So at some point of time, this thing. Personally, I don't recollect any really major this thing where one was in such a situation. I suppose the way we are, the way people are, it didn't somehow. I think it's a sort of a very symbiotic sort of thing. As much as you will bend, so much will be the pressure, and vice versa, and things like that. So I would say it's been okay. I think pretty much under control, so to say.
So you also endorse a different style of clothing for uniform?
No, I don't endorse. This is cotton, pure and simple cotton, which is known to be one of the best fabrics since time immemorial. Yes, it is also true that the number of people wearing cotton is very, very less now on a day-to-day basis. But then it is laid down in the rules. We have our uniform rules, so it is laid down. We can use both cotton and terracotta. So cotton is a good fabric. Breathes easily, cool as in keep the thing not cool as a cool. Okay, it is cool also that way actually.
So it is also very rare to to see a person from the minority community to reach such successful heights in the state police. How does it make you feel?
I don't know whether you are looking at it at the right perspective. In the police department, once you join, it's all khaki. So there is no. Our religion is khaki. Now, reaching a position is largely at what point you join, your seniority. Of course, your work also comes into play. So, there are people who have made it. And they will continue to make it because the setup is like that both merit and seniority, merit and age will play its part, and you'll reach level that you should if you are on the right track. So there have been people in the past, and I'm sure there will be people in the future also.
What is the role that you think media should play in maintaining law and order, sir? Tell us something.
No, maintaining law and order will and hopefully remain our core job, not anybody else's. But yes, media has a major role to play in influencing the larger sections of the population. And maybe this is not the occasion, but there have been many cases where I think the responsibility component of the media, some of them, if not all, has been found lacking. It's been an experience, I can say, for years. But there have also been cases, and I would say recently, I think with this thing, where the media was mature enough, responsible enough, fully realizing the accountability it has, and it delivers. So I would say the role the media plays is very important. They should realize that that important role should be used with a lot of caution. That influence, that hugely large influence, should be used with caution, with responsibility, which does not mean that the freedom of the press or the freedom of the media should be hampered anyway. But with responsibility comes in some things which takes care of what sometimes people say, you cannot come in the way of expressing the freedom. This is freedom. Responsibility sometimes means that you probably may take a quieter view of it or a different way of presenting it.
So there was an incident of the Crawford Market where you had interacted with the media and did not like the incident, I think, how they projected it. Can you tell us something on that?
No, it's not what they had projected. This is the time when I'm sure you may recall, from December 2002 to almost, I think, if I remember right, July or something of 2003, we had a series of bomb blasts in Mumbai city. It started off with the Ghatkopar bus blast in Ghatkopar, and ended with the Gateway of India and the Javeri Bazaar bomb blast of the two taxis. And in between these things, especially on this last one I'm talking about, we had a situation where one of the channels was showing information which was not only absolutely untrue, it was also most misleading and panic creating. So I recall I called up, those were the days when the media was much more restricted, so there were much lesser number of media persons to the responsible person in this channel. And this gentleman says, who I knew from before, it's not that, the gentleman says, I would rather believe what my reporter is reporting, which is okay professionally if you have a very solid this thing. Unfortunately for him, when I also told him, listen, I'm giving you an official statement as so-and-so in a position of some responsibility, he still obviously favored believing his own reporter. Unfortunately for the channel, it turned out to be not, as I said, wrong. It was roundly criticized by the other media, the people, the citizens. So the next day we had called a meeting and tried to resolve how to have some sort of a basic conduct in terms of responsibility and reporting factual things. The slant sometimes that is given, I am not responding to that. It depends on this thing. But the facts at least should not be kept away from the public, because if you give a wrong this thing, the public may just react wrongly. So I do remember this very clearly.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a privilege talking to you.
Wish you all and the viewers all the very best.